Every car enthusiast dreams of a bargain on the used market. You see a sleek saloon or SUV for half the price it was new, and it feels like you've outsmarted the system. But here's the truth. Some of those bargains are exactly the cars dealers themselves refuse to touch. Why? Because they're money traps. Cars that depreciate so brutally, or break so often, that no trader wants them sitting on their forecourt. In this video, we're counting down 7 used cars that dealers hate buying. From stylish saloons that lose value faster than you can blink, to EVs that looked smart 5 years ago but are now unsellable disasters. You'll want to avoid these unless you're ready to throw money away. And we start with a car that turns heads everywhere it goes. Beautiful, seductive, but worth pennies the moment you try to sell it. Number 7. Alfa Romeo Giulia. On the outside, the Alfa Romeo Giulia is pure temptation. Sleek Italian styling, sharp alloys, interiors that blend sportiness with premium comfort. It's a car that looks like it belongs on a Milan catwalk as much as a UK motorway. Alfa pitched it as the stylish alternative to a BMW 3 Series or Mercedes C-Class, and for a while, it looked like they'd nailed it. Enthusiasts praised its sharp steering, balanced chassis, and the charisma that German rivals often lack. But beneath the glamour lies a brutal truth. Dealers want nothing to do with it. The first reason is depreciation. A Giulia that cost £35,000 to £40,000 brand new now struggles to fetch £12,000 to £15,000 on the used market. That might sound like a dream deal for buyers, but for traders, it's a disaster. Margins are thin, values keep falling, and no one wants to be left holding the keys when prices drop again. Then there's reliability. While it's not the catastrophic Alfa of the 1990s, the Giulia hasn't fully escaped the curse. Owners complain about electrical gremlins, infotainment screens freezing, and random warning lights that reappear even after expensive repairs. Add fragile trim, patchy dealer support in the UK, and long waits for Italian-sourced parts, and you can see why forecourts struggle to move them. A car sitting unsold for months is dead weight to a dealer, and the Giulia is exactly that. The cruel irony. On paper, it's everything an executive saloon should be. Fast, stylish, desirable. In reality, it's a used car market pariah. If even dealers, whose business is flipping cars for profit, treat it like a liability, private buyers should think very carefully before jumping in. Coming up next, a British rival that was supposed to take the fight to BMW and Mercedes, but has collapsed so badly in the used market that even loyal Jaguar fans don't want one. Number 6. Jaguar XE. The Jaguar XE was launched with huge expectations. This was supposed to be the car that finally put Jaguar back on the map in the compact executive segment, a genuine British alternative to the BMW 3 Series and Mercedes C-Class. On paper, it ticked all the boxes: sleek feline styling, lightweight aluminium construction, and the promise of sharp Jaguar handling that would combine comfort with agility. For a moment, it seemed like Coventry had produced a winner. But the used market tells a very different story. Dealers across the UK openly admit they hate taking the XE into stock. The first problem is demand, or rather the lack of it. Despite the stylish exterior, buyers quickly discovered that the XE just didn't feel as premium as its rivals. The cabin, often criticised for its cheap plastics and dated infotainment, never matched the quality of BMW or Audi. And when you're selling to an audience that expects refinement, those shortcomings are deal breakers. Reliability added insult to injury. Infotainment systems are prone to freezing or rebooting mid-journey. Electrical gremlins trigger endless warning lights, and automatic gearboxes can lurch or hesitate in traffic. None of these issues are catastrophic on their own, but together they've given the XE a reputation for being more trouble than it's worth. Then comes depreciation, the dealer's worst enemy. A Jaguar XE that once commanded £35,000 can slump to under £10,000 within a few years. Part of that collapse is down to fleets. Leasing companies and corporate buyers dump them in bulk once contracts expired, saturating the market and dragging values down further. That oversupply means dealers are stuck holding cars that sit for weeks, sometimes months, before a buyer even shows interest. The result? A car that was supposed to be Jaguar's savior has become a headache for traders. Styling can turn heads, but it can't overcome fragile electronics, cheap interiors, and plummeting residuals. Dealers know it, and increasingly, so do private buyers. And if you think the XE is a tough sell, just wait until we get to a Japanese SUV that once dominated UK forecourts as a plug-in hybrid pioneer. Today, thanks to its aging batteries, it's practically unsellable. Number 5. Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. When it launched, the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV was a sensation. It promised SUV practicality with plug-in hybrid efficiency, became the UK's best-selling plug-in, and even tempted company car drivers with generous tax breaks. For a few years, dealers couldn't get them on the forecourt fast enough. But times have changed, and the Outlander PHEV has aged badly. The biggest issue is the battery pack. Early models suffer from noticeable degradation, with range dropping from an advertised 30 miles of EV driving to barely 10 to 12 in real life. Once the battery weakens, fuel economy collapses, leaving drivers with the worst of both worlds: heavy SUV running costs and little electric benefit. On top of that, parts aren't cheap. Replacement battery packs are eye-watering, and even smaller hybrid components, chargers, inverters, control modules, can cost thousands. Dealers know this, and they also know that customers do their research. Buyers hesitate once they read forums full of complaints about declining range and huge repair bills. Depreciation has been savage. What was once a £35,000 to £40,000 SUV now sits in classifieds for under £10,000. On paper, that looks like a bargain, but try selling one on and you'll quickly realize why traders avoid them. The Outlander PHEV shows how quickly technology can go from cutting edge to outdated. And next on our list is another car that suffered a similar fate, not because of batteries, but because of changing times. Number 4. Ford Mondeo. For decades, the Ford Mondeo was the king of the company car park. Comfortable, affordable, reliable, and backed by a huge dealer network. It was the default choice for fleets across Britain. In fact, Mondeo Man became shorthand for the middle-class driver. But fast forward to today, and the Mondeo is a shadow of its former glory. Dealers can't shift them, and here's why. First, demand has collapsed. Buyers who once snapped up saloons and estates are now moving to SUVs. That alone makes the Mondeo harder to sell. But the problems run deeper. The diesel models that dominated fleets are now coming back to market with high miles, tired engines, and looming emissions issues. EGR valve failures, clogged DPFS, and AdBlue system faults are all common, and none of them are cheap to sort. Then there's depreciation. A car that once cost £25,000 to £30,000 new can now be found for less than £6,000. That sounds like a bargain until you realize the repair bills can exceed the value of the car. Dealers know it too. Trade-in prices are so low that many owners are shocked when they try to part exchange their Mondeo. In short, the Mondeo went from being a safe corporate bet to a used car dead end. It's proof that when the market moves on, even a once great nameplate can be left behind. And while the Mondeo has faded quietly, the next car on our list fails loudly. It's a Land Rover, supposedly the badge of prestige and dependability, but in reality, a dealer's nightmare thanks to fragile engines and endless electronic gremlins. Number 3. Land Rover Discovery Sport. Few badges carry as much prestige in the UK as Land Rover. The Discovery Sport was meant to be the everyday luxury SUV. Family-friendly, stylish, and built to handle everything from school runs to weekend getaways. On paper, it ticked every box. But for dealers, it's become one of the most dreaded trade-ins on the market. The main culprit? The Ingenium engines. Both petrol and diesel versions have developed a notorious reputation for oil dilution, timing chain stretch, and turbo failures. In many cases, complete engine replacements are needed well before 100,000 miles, with bills that easily climb past £8,000. For a car worth less than that on the used market, it's financial madness. But the problems don't stop at the engine. Electronics are another minefield. Frozen infotainment screens, parking sensors that quit randomly, gear selectors refusing to engage, and endless warning lights. Add in fragile suspension components and gearbox complaints, and the Disco Sport quickly transforms from prestige SUV to rolling liability. The result? Dealers are extremely cautious. Many will only accept a Discovery Sport at rock-bottom prices, knowing they'll struggle to resell it without sinking money into repairs first. Buyers are catching on too, which means demand is drying up fast. The Discovery Sport shows how even a premium badge can't save a car with fundamental flaws. And while this SUV leaves owners with bills they'd rather forget, the next car on our list has a different problem altogether. Its batteries degrade so quickly that even die-hard EV fans have started walking away. Number 2. Nissan Leaf. When the Nissan Leaf launched, it was hailed as the car that would bring electric motoring to the masses. Affordable, practical, and easy to drive, it quickly became the UK's best-selling EV. For a while, it seemed like the future had arrived. But fast forward to the used market, and the Leaf has become one of the hardest cars for dealers to move. The issue is simple, but devastating. Battery degradation. Unlike modern EVs with advanced thermal management, early Leafs relied on passive air cooling. That meant heat cycles and frequent rapid charging caused the batteries to lose capacity at alarming rates. Many first-gen models that once offered around 100 miles of range are now struggling to do half of that, sometimes less. Even second-gen cars aren't immune, with some owners reporting significant range loss in just a few years. And here's the problem. Replacing the battery is prohibitively expensive. A new pack can run £6,000 to £8,000, often more than the entire value of the car itself. That makes many aging Leafs practically worthless, stuck in dealer forecourts where no buyer wants to touch them. Add in limited public charging infrastructure during their early years, and a reputation for unreliable real-world range, and demand has collapsed. For dealers, a used Leaf isn't an asset. It's a liability on wheels. Unless the price is rock bottom, they know customers won't bite. And that brings us to the final car on our list, the one that was once a symbol of British executive pride, but has now sunk so far in value that dealers practically beg drivers not to trade them in. Number 1. Vauxhall Insignia. For years, the Vauxhall Insignia was the backbone of the UK fleet market. It was everywhere. Company car parks, motorways, taxi ranks. With sharp styling, decent kit and a low list price, it seemed like a smart, sensible choice. But today, dealers hate them. The Insignia has gone from fleet favourite to unwanted stock that sits gathering dust on forecourts. Why? Oversupply and collapsing demand. Thousands were registered as fleet cars, meaning the used market is flooded with ex-company diesels, often high mileage, tired, and with questionable service histories. Buyers know it, and they steer clear. The result is rock-bottom resale values. A car that cost £25,000 to £30,000 new can now be found for under £7,000. And even at that price, dealers struggle to shift them. Then there are the mechanical issues. The 2.0 CDTI diesels suffer from DPF clogging, EGR failures, and timing belt wear. Petrol models aren't much better, with oil leaks and turbo problems not uncommon. Add in fragile electronics, infotainment glitches, faulty sensors, electrical gremlins, and the Insignia's reputation has sunk even lower. For dealers, every Insignia that comes in is a gamble. Will it sell at all, or will it eat into margins with prep and repair costs? The harsh truth is simple. The Insignia belongs to a dying breed. The big family saloon has been replaced by SUVs, and demand has evaporated. What was once the safe choice is now an anchor around a dealer's neck. And that's why the Insignia takes the top spot. Proof that popularity yesterday doesn't guarantee desirability today. So there you have it. 7 used cars that dealers absolutely hate taking in. From Italian saloons that collapse in value the second you drive them out of the showroom, to British SUVs and plug-ins that no one wants even with a discount, these cars prove one painful truth. Not every bargain is really a bargain. Dealers know it. Mechanics know it. And now, you know it too. Have you ever owned one of these so-called money traps? Did it bleed your wallet dry, or were you one of the lucky ones who escaped? Drop your story in the comments below. Your experience could save someone else thousands. If this video opened your eyes, smash the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more no-nonsense car advice every single week. And one last thing, share this video with a mate who's thinking of buying a cheap luxury or family car. Trust me, it might save them from making one of the most expensive mistakes of their life. Because when it comes to the used market, knowledge isn't just power, it's protection.